that will be getting higher and lower, budgets, and then we'll see if critical attention is being paid to some critical agencies just like healthcare, education, security, and also food security. We are going to be looking at all of those. We're going to be x-raying all of that. But before then, let me bring you up to speed with what Mr. President had to say about this budget. He says, the report says President Bola Tinubu presented 58.18 trillion Naira 2026 Appropriation Bill to a joint section of the National Assembly, vowing that the 2026 will mark a decisive shift towards stronger discipline in budget execution and result-driven governance. President Tinubu said the budget, titled Budget of Consolidation, Renewed Reliance and Shared Prosperity, is designed to consolidate recent economic reforms and translate stabilizing macroeconomic indicators into improved living standards for all Nigerians. The President announced and ended off the long-standing practice of running multiple projects in the country. He said the era of overlapping budgets, abandoning project inherited obligations, and perpetual rollovers must come to an end if Nigeria is to achieve fiscal discipline and sustainable development. He says, before I go further, let me be upfront. This is a reset, a very hard one, President Bola declared. He said the practice of avoiding abandoned projects, piling up constitutional, contextual obligations, and running multiple budgets on a single inflow has continued to undermine efficiency, effective governance, and economic planning. He further said, we are terminating the habit of running 3 budgets in one inflow by March 31st, 2026. All capital liabilities from previous years will be fully funded and closed. He said, from April, Nigeria will operate on a single budget backed by a single revenue cycle. No lapse, no excuses, no rollovers. He also mentioned on measures to ensure that strict adherence to appropriate timeline, improved revenue mobilization, and tighter accountability across government institutions. The President said the 2025 budget implementation faced the realities of transition and competing execution demands. At the third quarter of 2025, the President said the Federation recorded 18.6 trillion in revenue, representing a 61% increase, and 24.66 trillion in expenditure, representing 60% of the target. Following the extension of the 2024 capital budget execution to December 2025, a total of 2.28 trillion was released for the implementation of 2024 capital projects of the month of June 2025. While official challenges persisted, the government met its key obligation. However, only 3.10 trillion Naira, about 17.7% of 2025 capital budget, was released as of the Q today. That's talking about the third quarter, reflecting the emphasis on completing priority 2024 capital project during the transition period. The President declared that 2026 will be a year of stronger discipline in budget execution. The President have issued directive to the Honorable Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, the Honorable Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, the Accountant General of the Federation, and the Director General of the Budget Office of the Federation to ensure that the 2026 budget is implemented strictly in line with the appropriated details and timelines. He further said, we expect improved revenue performance through the new National Tax Act and ongoing reforms in oil and gas sector, reforms designed not merely to raise revenue but to drive transparency, efficiency, fairness, and long-term value in our fiscal architecture. The President stressed that the focus on discipline and delivery is aimed at restoring public trust in budget process, stressing that the greatest budget is not the one we announce, it is the one we deliver. President Tinubu warned government-owned enterprises and revenue-generating agencies that underperformance would no longer be tolerated, declaring that Nigeria can no longer afford leakages, inefficiency, or underperformance in strategic agencies. Highlighting recent economic indicators, President Tinubu said Nigeria's economy grew by 3.98% in the third quarter of 2025, compared to 3.86% in the same period of 2024, while inflation moderated from 8 consecutive months, declined to 14.45% in November 2025 from 24.23% in March. He cited improved oil production, expanded non-oil revenue through better tax administration, renewed investor confidence, and external reserve rising to a 7-year high of about $47 billion. Outlining the fiscal framework, the president said that the 2026 budget projects total expenditure of 58.18 trillion and expected revenue of 34.33 trillion. Capital expenditure is estimated at 26.08 trillion naira, while recurrent non-debit expenditure stands at 15.25 trillion. Debt servicing is projected at 15.52 trillion, with a budget deficit of 23.85 trillion naira, representing a 4.28% of gross domestic product. President Tinubu identifies security infrastructure, education, health, and agriculture productivity as key priorities in 2026 budget. According to him, the proposed allocation include 5.41 trillion for defense and security, 3.36 trillion for infrastructure, 3.52 trillion for education, and 2.48 trillion for health. He stressed that the priorities are interconnected, noting that without security, investment will not thrive, while education and healthy citizens are essential for productivity and economic growth. On the fight against terrorism, the president declared that the federal government will show no mercy to terrorists and violent criminal elements. He announced the establishment of a new national counterterrorism doctrine to decisively confront terrorism, banditry, kidnapping for ransom, and other violent crimes threatening Nigerians' stability. In the health sector, President Tinubu welcomed over $500 million in grant funding secured through recent high-level engagements with the governments of the United States, targeted health intervention across Nigeria. He described the support as a decisive vote of confidence in Nigerian reform agenda and health sector priorities. President Tinubu noted that strengthening Nigeria's healthcare system remains a central pillar of his administration's human capital development strategy, stressing that a healthy population is essential to productive economic growth and national reliance. He said 2026 budget reinforces investment in healthcare delivery, disease prevention, marital and child health, and health system strengthening while ensuring accountability is used for both domestic and international resources. President Tinubu reaffirms that the projects under the Renewed Hope agenda are steadily moving from vision to reality nationwide, with significant progress recorded in transport and energy infrastructure, port moderation, agricultural reforms, and strategic investments designed to unlock private capitals. He explained that infrastructure development remains critical to reducing the cost of doing business, expanding market access, creating jobs, and improving the quality of life for all Nigerians. President Tinubu underscored the administration's firm commitment to food security, describing it as a national priority and a core component of economic stability and social well-being. So this is what is coming, the reports coming from the presidency on what this budget, the 2026 appropriation budget of 58.18 trillion naira is set to do. But this is where a lot of Nigerians are having problem. You know, in the bill, among the reports, in just this report that I just read, it said we're looking to generate revenue, but looking at it now, it looks as if we're going to be spending more. We're going to be spending around 34 rather, around almost 33 plus trillion around expenditure. And then we've now talked about debt servicing and all of that. So we'll be having conversation about how we are going to x-ray and how this budget, this allocation, it's looking towards the respective sectors that we will be looking at. And again, another 1.07 billion is also in the budget for the renovation of the house of the vice president and the president. So we're still going to have conversations around that light on why not that much money and why is this happening, because just in the previous budget, renovations were done. Why do we have to renovate every year? Those are the questions Nigerians are asking, and hopefully we'll be able to do justice while answering these questions after this break when I get to introduce my guests to you all. You sit back and relax. We'll be right back after this break. Many thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining, this is Discuss here on Global Television. I am Samuel Odi. Many thanks for joining us on today's edition of the program. Today we'll be looking at a very topical conversation that's centered around the 2026 proposed bill, which a whole lot of Nigerians have reacted to differently due to the allocations of funds to different ministries and parastatals. And then we're extracting all of this conversation, and also we're seeing a lot of massive concern around insecurity and kidnapping, which is happening in Edo State, in Ekboma to be precise. We've seen different reports around kidnappings and also some arrests that have been made, and mostly a couple of people that have been arrested. We saw around 52 students being arrested. A couple of them have been released, and some are those that have been charged are still in custody, and those that were not charged have been released. So the total number of those that have been released is not totally confirmed yet, but a couple of numbers are still remaining in the police custody, and the police said that those numbers are those that have actually been charged with something. We're going to be having those conversations, as well as extracting and marrying it together with what's going on within the budget and how much it has been catered to the security agency. So to join me have this conversation in the studio live is Bartholomew Abochenu, elder statesman. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us to this edition of the program.
It's my pleasure for you having me here.
Yeah, it's safe to say Happy New Year to you again. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So, elder statesman, before we get into the budget and start talking numbers and all of that, what's your reaction to the recent looming insecurity challenges that we're witnessing in Edo Ekpoma and students being arrested because they came out to protest about being scared of going to class, being scared of going to write their exams, or in the name of, being scared of being kidnapped in the end of the day? So what's your reaction to all of this? What do you think the Edo State government isn't doing right? Or is it the problem of the presidency as well?
Yeah, the issue of insecurity is no longer a new thing in Nigeria. It's only that in my language, they said, Ola Jobatan. I was spoken in tongues. They say the body can never be used to suffering. No matter how long you have been suffering, anytime it surfaces that you experience it, you still feel it. If not, we would have said that we are already used to insecurity. But since insecurity is a bad thing, we cannot be used to it. But the facts are there that insecurity has been on for quite a very long time.
Yes.
So what happened at Edo, in Abuja here, did it not happen? About the odd saga that happened to about 2 ladies that lost their lives through one chance in the Federal Capital Territory. So if it could so happen in the Federal Capital Territory, is it in Edo State that it cannot happen? So all boils down to the fact that we don't have passionate leaders who could secure this country. The leaders we have are selfish. They go in huge sunk of security details since they feel that nothing can happen to them. They care less about what is happening. I make bold to tell you that as far as Nigeria is concerned, it can be only an individual with God. It can be only an individual and God. If not security-wise, I think we are not measuring up. We are not measuring up. That is my take on that.
Okay, looking at that now, you said we are not measuring up in terms of security. How do you think the government can do to improve the standard of securing the life of and properties of Nigerians, which is their primary responsibility?
Look, the willpower is not there on the side of the government. The willpower, I mean the willpower to exterminate insecurity from Nigeria is not there. We hear day in, day out, the security agents have gone out and they have driven away the bandits. They killed 7 bandits. They killed 100 bandits. I'm not looking forward to seeing bandits being killed. I am not looking forward to seeing bandits being chased away. I am looking forward to seeing them being exterminated. Doesn't Nigeria have the power to do that? Don't they have the power to do that? The only thing is that when they are set in motion to carry out these objectives, they parboil it. They do it in such a way that it should remain for them again to be engaged on it. Because as they get engaged on it, that is how they shine. That is how they see money. And so the idea of coming out to exterminate security, I don't think it is an agenda of the federal government. And that is why we are having all these issues.
Which of the issues now? Because there are numerous issues that they're having.
The issue I'm talking about is the issue of insecurity. How, for goodness sake, in FCT, the issue of kidnapping, one chance, can still be rigging. In FCT, how can it still be rigging? The people we have in governance, they are not passionate leaders. They don't care for the land. That is the issue we are facing. I am quite aware that the military that we have, they are well trained for the job. And if you give them the chance to do their job, before you know it, all this insecurity will be a thing of the past. But they will do it in such a way that it should remain. For them to be engaged on it, that is the problem we have. That is the problem we are having. And the problem is from the federal. It gets into the state. And it goes on and on like that. I was watching Diri, the governor of Bayelsa State, addressing his people and telling them that no traditional ruler should allow herdsmen to come and settle in his state. And he meant it. And he stressed that any traditional ruler that ventures into an agreement with herders to settle in his state, then the traditional ruler will have it hot with him. That is how to do it. That is how to do it. These herdsmen, we know that they are constituting huge problems in Nigeria insecurity deal.
Yes.
They are the one mostly responsible for the insecurity in the country. But the way the government goes about it is what I don't know. Is what I don't know. How many times has Wike said that he does not want to see Fulanis doing open grazing in the Federal Capital Territory? Don't you see them doing it? They even go to Aso Rock. What do they do about it? They don't do anything about it. The problem of this country is the leaders. If the leaders are all out to do what they are supposed to do and what they promised to do for the land, then we will have no problem.
Okay. Let's move away from that quickly and then look at the 2026 proposed 2026 Appropriation Bill, which says, President said the 2026 budget projected total expenditure of 58.18 trillion and expected revenue of 34.33 trillion naira. So, Elder Statesman, what is your reaction to this total number and what revenue we expected to have in 2026? Are you seeing us getting this capital expenditure? Looking at the capital expenditure, do you think we could be able to manage our revenue and what we'll be able to generate?
Now, I don't see any sense in the budget appropriation. The budget that was proposed, I don't see any sense in it. I don't see any sense in you carrying a car that can carry a load of, let's say, 3 tons. 3 tons is the capacity of the car. Then you go and bring 10 tons to put on the car.
The car will break down.
Now, you have a revenue of 34.33 trillion.
Expected.
And
capital expenditure.
You are going into a budget proposal of 58.18. with a deficit of about 23 trillion. That 23 trillion deficit, what is in the mind of the government is to go and borrow. Is to go and borrow. And the more you borrow, the more our currency power is affected. Would we continue to be servants to other nations? Would we continue to be servants to other nations? We, the led, we are not having it smooth. And the future is equally jeopardized. Where are we going? Where are we going? So, from you, I don't see any sense in the amount proposed for the 2026 budget.
Are you saying the amount is small, or you're expecting something higher? Let's get clear content.
The amount is by far greater than our strength. Our strength is 34. That is the expected revenue to come. It's 34.33 trillion.
Yes.
And the budget proposal is 58.
Yes.
0.18 trillion.
Almost 60 trillion.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
If the budget is equal to the revenue that is coming, you can now say, okay, I am working from hand to mouth. The amount I am able to work is the amount I am able to spend in it. Like somebody who is a salary earner, he earns about 100,000 naira per month, and he spends the whole 100,000 naira per month. Even if he spends that 100,000 naira per month, when he sees children coming up that he needs to train, that he needs to service their education, it is not sensible. But you have children that are coming that you need to train in school, and you are on salary of 100,000 naira, then you are going to spend 250,000 naira. The other 250,000 naira, you are a government worker, and you go to the bank, you say, okay, I'm a government worker. If you go to the bank and you're a government worker, they will give you the loan. You go and take loan. There is no sense in it. I don't think that there is any sense in it. And Sam, can I shock you?
Shock me.
The most terrifying aspect of this thing is that this budget that they propose, they don't use it judiciously.
But the president has assured that it's going to be, there will be a lot of discipline in terms of, using this budget, and he also said that there won't be rollover projects, in this budget, that the Nigerian economy is going to run under one single budget, and there won't be any form of overlapping. He actually stated all of that, but you have definitely seen situations where we run multiple budgets within a time frame.
What do you expect him to say? What do you expect him to say? If he doesn't say that there shouldn't be failure in the appropriation of the budget, what do you expect him to say? Do you expect him to come and begin to talk to people that they should divert the budget, that they shouldn't work in line with the budget? Is that what you're expecting him to say?
But he is coming out to say that it's not going to be business as usual.
It is when it happens. Then every politician has that jiggle. When he comes up to address the people, when he would grant a press statement, he will always say that nobody will ever like to see the bad side of himself. Politicians, when it is time for campaign, would you ever hear from any politician who would say, okay, when I am elected, I will kill people? Nobody says that. When I am elected, I will steal money. Nobody says that. But by and by, when they are elected, you begin to see some certain things, some strange things that are never from the tips of their mouths. So that is how it is. I have 1,001 ways of convincing you that the functionaries we have at the helms of affairs in the Nigerian governmental system, they are not honest. I am an NGO practitioner. I have a very big NGO, and I have people following me. I have over 60 WhatsApp platforms, as you are seeing me here. And people are on my platforms. I have Telegram. People are on my platforms. From 2023, the government has been rolling out proposals of business. There was one proposal that was led by the Vice President Shetima that was given to Wema Bank. I brought all my people there. Lo and behold, the end was just noise. Nothing came out of it. Another one was just very recently. In August last year, they call it UDEP. UDEP, yes. By the Federal Ministry of Youth Development. And the way they were sounding appears that in the next few days, the Naira notes were going to roll. They came out with a proposal saying that they were going to help farmers. The chunk of the number following me that I have, all of them, they applied. The information has run down the drain. Nobody hears anything from them again. Okay, but everything has gone comatose. No information. That is what we are talking about. So all this budget that we are talking about, maybe they will come out and speak some certain things out. By the moment they do that, you will feel that they mean what they are doing. They don't ever mean what they are doing.
Okay, let's come back to this budget still and still looking at it. You know, expected revenue is at 34.33 trillion, and capital expenditure is estimated at 26.08 trillion, while recurrent non-debt expenditure stands at 15.25 trillion, and debt servicing is projected at 15.52 trillion. This brings me to with a budget deficit of around 23.85 trillion, representing 4% of gross domestic product. This brings me to the point where you said, because looking at the breakdown now, we are running obviously into, you know, deficit and seeking for loans somewhere. How do you think, now looking at the new tax reforms now that we are having, and we're expected to see some of the huge chunk of this money coming out from our gross domestic products, do you think it's going to be around the new tax laws that have been implemented by the federal government in line with the Central Bank of Nigeria and the recent tax reform bill that is in action already?
Now, the new tax reform bill, you know, if you study it very well, it affects the aristocrats, most especially yes, the elites,
yes,
those who are up there financially,
yes.
Not some of us that are struggling to train our children in school and to feed well and to drive moderate cars. It doesn't apply to us much. It applies to people who are in millions, who are in billions, who are in trillions. And let me tell you, people that are in this class, they are intelligent, they are disciplined, they are knowledgeable. And when they know really that you are coming up with a policy to hit them hard, they will also try to hide themselves.
Hide themselves or look for loopholes within the system.
Listen to me, when I say hide themselves, I know why I made use of that word, hide themselves. They know how to hide their resources. Their resources, so that this new tax reform bill does not affect them. if you come with a very harsh policy that will affect business moguls, they know how to hide themselves from the effect of your policy. That was what actually happened to America, in America.
Yes, between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton during her...
Okay, no, even before Donald Trump. I'm just talking about the time before America was born.
Okay.
Far back and around the 15th century.
Oh, okay.
Far back there. When this person, Christopher Columbus, went to discover America. Do you know? All the business moguls, they were in Europe. They were in Spain, in France, in UK, in Scotland, in Italy. Name them. They were there. And they were running their businesses. But the taxes there outweighed them. And they decided when America was discovered by Christopher Columbus, they decided to begin to go to America because of the taxes that were looming on their business industries. And that was how America came up to where it is today. America, at the birth of it, was tax friendly, and the rest of them. So, aristocrats, elites, people that are up there financially, if you begin to bring a very harsh policy, tax policy, they know how to hide themselves. And at the end of the day, what you are even pursuing, you don't get it. So, the country banking on expectations coming up from the new tax reform bill is not actually the pathway to go, because you may be disappointed, and at the end of the day, you fall back to where you were. That is the first angle to look at it. The second angle to look at it, look, let me tell you, those who are in charge of this tax reform, they are human beings. They are not only human beings, they are Africans. They are not only Africans, they are Nigerians.
Yes.
And trust me, what Nigerians can do, those who are there, instead of the chunk of the monies that will leave their account for this tax reform bill, they may know how to do their calculations to settle those people with bigger amount so that they don't touch their money. Anyhow you do it, they know how to to navigate their way, to make sure that they get these things done so that they will not be affected grossly the way so many people expect things to be. And so banking on the new tax reform bills and expecting that revenues will come from there to be able to service your budget proposal may not be the right thinking path.
Well, let's look at the allocations, which include 5.41 trillion for defense and security, 3.56 trillion for infrastructure, and 3.52 trillion for education, and 2.48 trillion for health sector. Let's start off with the health sector, 2.48 trillion. Do you think this is looking at the looming challenges, you know, internal displaced persons needing health care, rural communities needing health care, and also our politicians also needing health care, but whenever they do, they get to be flown abroad. Looking at this budget now, do you think in the year 2026, this budget can be able to improve our health sector if duly utilized properly?
The issue is implementation. You could agree with me that this 2.48 trillion for health sector, you may even discover that half a trillion is not used for it. You may discover that it is diverted. The problem we have with Nigeria is diversion.
Do you think the president needs to set up a ministry that will be monitoring all of this?
It's not the setting up, it's not the creation of ministries and commission that is the issue. If you set them up, it is the same Nigerians you are bringing there.
So what?
Except corruption is reduced to the barest minimum. And if corruption has to be reduced to the barest minimum, the person on top of the horse should let us know that we should trust him. Now, it boils down to the issue of taking a telescope cast on the person, the C. Is he doing the real thing? Is he honest in the way he is doing his thing? Is he honest? If he is honest and his hands are clean, then he will be able to supervise those that are under him and to put several things in order to make sure that every functionary is checkmated and duly followed to ensure that the appropriate thing is done. So 2.48 trillion for health is not insufficient. ₦1 trillion is quite a huge sum. If it would be used judiciously, and I am not telling you that the health sector is the least. You have the infrastructure, you have the education, you have the security. Security takes about 5 trillion.
Yes.
Education takes about 3 trillion. Infrastructure takes about 3 trillion.
As well.
Is the health sector that is the least. Although it is the least, if these 2.48 trillion are judicially deployed to health, there will be a change in this country to the extent that all these politicians that used to go abroad for medical attention will no longer be going. But the issue is the idea of corruption. They know all these people that are in government. When they see now that the law enforcement agents are after them, they know how to hide themselves. So that is my take on it.
Okay. We'll be going on a very quick break, and then when we return back, discuss continues as we try to look at other, parastatals or agencies that have gotten their own, or that some funds have been allocated to, and we would X-ray if that would be enough or more should be added, and how we can also cover up the deficit and when we will be able to achieve the revenue of 34.33 trillion as projected in the 2026 budget. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. We've been having conversation around the proposed 2026 Appropriation Bill, which is centered around spendings that will be happening in the fiscal year for Nigeria. The total amount is 58.8 trillion, and from that chunk, 5.41 trillion has been, allocated to defense and security. Looking at the security challenges we've been facing for over a decade now in Nigeria, and renewed challenges also looming around every other part of the country, there are some concerns being raised around this figure, looking at the challenges and the kind of videos that have been surfacing in the social media space where some military personnel have reacted to the fact that they don't get proper welfare treatment. So with this budget now, Elder Statesman, do you think that our security agencies will be properly equipped to be able to tackle the security challenges we're facing in the country?
5 trillion
yes,
naira.
5.41 30.41 trillion.
Yes, it's not a small amount of money. This money is quite enough to furnish the security agencies to do whatever they would do. If the politicians will allow them to do what they are expected to do. So the 5.41 trillion is even too much. It's even too much. Are you going to do a nuclear station? A nuclear station. Are you going to do a nuclear station? It's too much. But I'll be pleased to see the amount there. But let the politicians hands off and let the military and the paramilitary do their jobs honestly.
Okay, quick one. Before, as we get set to round up, Elder Statesman, in the United States government has seized over $17 billion worth of crude oil from Venezuela. How do you think this will trickle down and affect Nigeria in this year, 2026, in terms of oil exportation? And do you think, looking at the global market now, the price of crude is going to be reduced from around $65 to a barrel to around $50 to a barrel? Do you think it's going to have a negative impact on Nigeria?
The thing about Nigeria, whatever happens outside Nigeria, there are people in Nigeria that are strategists, and they always know how to go about it. So what happens in the foreign world is not what affects Nigeria. What affects Nigeria is from Nigeria. So if we can package ourselves, whatever is happening in Venezuela does not have any effect on Nigeria.
But we're looking at it from the oil industry, because the oil, crude now is a global commodity, and Nigeria generates, revenues from these sectors as well. So do you think it might hamper with the revenue generation of 34.33 trillion that was
what you are saying from the oil industry is just what you are hearing. Behind closed doors, there are a lot of things that are happening there that you don't know.
True.
There are several actions behind the curtain that are playing out there that you don't know. Any other thing that you are hearing from abroad, they know how to settle themselves and to score themselves and to come to an average level. Under normal circumstances, if what is obtainable in the oil sector in Nigeria is allowed to play out on a plain ground, you and I will not have the effect the way we are having it. So whatever happens from the wider foreign world, they know how to settle themselves and to strike a balance without it affecting Nigeria grossly.
If you look at it quickly, Nigeria has been doing a whole lot of importation and consuming a lot, and economists have argued that by the time Nigeria gets to start producing more, achieving the estimated revenue for the year 2026 will be more feasible. Do you think Nigeria should, shut down its borders or reduce importation and focus more on producing local products and exporting local products? Do you think that would help us, achieve this mindset of gaining 34.33 trillion revenue in the year? And if that would help cushion the deficits that we have in this 2026 appropriation?
Oh, for sure. If you would grow your domestic products, the pathway to go is to shut down the borders and to prevent importations. A country grows from the ranks of its exports. So if we have people with the willpower to do that, that is the golden path to tread, for sure. That is the golden path to tread. But where are such people in Nigeria for now? From what you are seeing, that everybody is crazy about party. about party, about perpetuating self in power, in governance. If you see people that are really ready to lead, nobody tells you before you know. The crop of leaders that we have now, are they the kind that will be able to do this? Are they patriotic? And so before you get a crop of leaders that will be able to do this, then you get compatriots. You get people that are patriotic. You get people that love their homeland more than the foreign scene. You know, when you get leaders that a little thing, a local government chairman will fly abroad for medical attention. Not to talk of a House of Rep member, not to talk of a senator, before you now come to the presidency. So we are not patriotic. Since we are not patriotic, so this thing you are talking about is just a mere daydream. But if we can get leaders that are patriotic, the golden path to tread is to shut down the borders and to prevent influx of importation so that we can consolidate on our domestic products.
All right, thank you very much, Bartholomew Amocheno, for taking our time to join us on today's edition of Discuss. Thank you so much for all of your input on this.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure for you having me.
Yes, and this is how much time will permit us to take on today's edition of Discuss. My name is Samuel Odi. I'll see you again as we discuss further. Bye for now.